You got to accentuate the positive. Wow, I feel good. A little bit of feel good goes a long way.
You're listening to KAren Swain, teacher of deliberate creation, accentuating the positive, showing you a way to a better life.
Accentuating the positive, it's not just fad, it's sanity. Who in their right mind would accentuate anything else?
If you feel like that's what you want to do.
Welcome to another show, Accentuating the Positive with KAren Swain. This is, we're doing it differently today. This is a special show we started last week. Let me swap you over there. We started last week called Spirit Speaks, I suppose is the name of the show. Just made up that name now. with Sandy. Patty says, hi, I've just woken up to what you were doing. Right. Okay. So last week we were talking with the people that were killed in the tragedy in Bondi Junction a few months ago. There was a guy that went around stabbing people. So we spoke to him and we spoke to the people that were killed. I really wanted to give them a voice, and I'm testing out Sandy's amazing psychic experiences. I've put her in the hot seat.
Yes, you did.
So Sandy said she wanted more practice. She's been a psychic. Sandy's been a psychic medium for over 15 years. She started it when her mother and her used to really love watching other psychics on television and stuff like that. You were really into it. And you'd made a promise to your mom that when she passed, you'd maintain that communication. And there was a bit of touch and go for a while there, but you maintain that communication with your mum. And in fact, your mum and your dad are a part of your spirit team, aren't they? And they really help you do this, which is kind of really cool, I think. Anything you want to say about that, Sandy?
No, I'm just grateful. It took a little while for me to trust, and then when I did, I had this comfort and consolation that I could still continue. And that's what I hope to bring to other people when I do what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had this discussion with many people. We've got to take you can tell I've changed the colors in the background. I've gone from purple to sort of green and yellow and white. I'm sort of lightened it up a bit. I love purple, but purple is considered a woo-woo color or a royal color, depends on your perspective. But, this whole spiritual, talking to the dead, psychic ability has been very ridiculed for maybe thousands of years. People have been burnt at the stake for being a witch, for being intuitive. And we're in a time of great transition here on planet Earth, where all our psychic abilities are coming back online, and we will one day move into a telepathic society. It's happening with the children that are here on Earth. I've spoken and seen many children who communicate brilliantly telepathically. One little boy who came to me years ago didn't speak verbally at all. His mother spent 8 years trying to make him talk verbally, but his contract here was to show humanity our telepathic powers. So I wanted to get these conversations of speaking with spirit out into the mainstream in a more mainstream way, or out into life in a more mainstream way, how easy it is when you know you can do it. It's really a quantum leap from I can't to I can, isn't it? Like with you, Sandy.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk
a moment?
Yeah, I still have your moments. Yep. Do you want to talk just a little bit before we've got a few people waiting online in the green room that are going to ask Sandy some questions? I've invited about 6 or 7 people to come on the live show and ask Sandy to connect to their loved ones in spirit, or to bring a message from spirit. As I said, we're not necessarily doing life guidance, but then I'm not in charge of this. They are. So whatever wants to come through. We're like, why limit it? They said to me, why limit it, KAren? Stop putting parameters on this. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So do you want to just tell people a little bit about how easy it was for you to connect to your psychic awareness when you really didn't think you were psychic?
You keep saying it was easy. It wasn't at first. I kept doubting everything that I would hear, and I kept thinking, oh, what a great coincidence this is. Oh, I thought that question this morning. I remember one time I was driving my car and I was mad at my mom for having left without while I was in this predicament. And normally I would call her and ask for her guidance. And I was like, yep, where are you now, lady? Well, yeah, great. You said you'd always be here for me. And 3 hours later, when I got home, my grandson said, hey, Grandma, Gigi said, and we looked at him and he said, and you better quit talking to her that way, because she doesn't think you should yell at her. And my daughter looked at me and said, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden I was like, and I realized that in that moment with my grandson telling me that, I realized that she not only heard me, but she was ticked at the way I said it, and that she gave me the answer that I was looking for. And that's when I started connecting that, okay, this is really occurring. This is really happening. And it came down to trust. It came down to believing that the coincidences that I saw and that I connected with were more than that. And my dad used to always say, if you got it, flaunt it, which so once I started believing I could do it, it wasn't flaunting. I still don't flaunt. I live in the Bible Belt, so I kind of flaunt it in a closet, but I'm working on it.
Well, this is the reason we're doing these shows, really, because Sandy's did some sessions with me, and I wanted to get her out of that, closet. As I say, I think it's so important that for people to be open with this, to speak it, right, to make it known, to get it out of the closet and out of the woo-woo and out of the strange. And even amongst the Bible Belt, somebody online said to me the other day, who was on my practice, we had some practice psychic sessions, and she said she's in Canada, and she felt the same. She's in the Bible Belt in Canada, and it's considered the devil's work to be psychic. And I'm like, really? That still exists? Hi, Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane, love it. Thanks, darling. She's online saying hello. Really? That still exists? So the purpose for the show is to get it out of that woo-woo devil and make it normal. Make it normal. Because it is normal, and it's just a matter of understanding that, think about this. Every thought you have is heard, like every single thought. I was listening to Michel de Marquet speak. So he's the guy that wrote the Thibaut Prophecy, Abduction to the Ninth Planet. He died in 2018. But I was listening to an old 90s recording of him speak. He had a very French accent. And I was criticizing in my head saying, God, it's hard to hear him with his French accent. He's got a really sort of strange personality, which is also hard to listen to. And then he came through when I had Samuel on the show the other day with his funky personality and his thick French accent. And he said, I heard you, I heard everything you thought. And I'm like, right, everything we think, Spirit is hearing. Like there's no talk about privacy. There's no privacy, right? There's no privacy. So yeah, be kind and less critical in your thinking. But it was funny. He came through. He was laughing. He wasn't upset at all from that other side. But yeah, he was laughing. So what will we do now? Shall I bring somebody up and put you in the hot seat and deliver a message? So we've got a few people online, and if you're listening in the chat, you can also write your messages in the chat. We've got time. We can get Sandy or myself to tune in and deliver a message from Spirit. And also I had somebody else contact me who wanted to speak today, who we'll talk about a bit later. I might bring Diane up. Okay, let me find you, Diane, in the green room here. Hey, Kim. Who's also in the green room. Let me find you. There you are, Diane. All righty.
Hi.
Hello,
I'm
Diane.
So excited to be here. Yes, so great to meet you.
It's good to meet you as well. Were you on our one? Was she in the one group that we had that one night?
I think so. Yeah. Sorry,
I thought you looked familiar.
When you brought through our friend that was in the inner sanctum, and she probably still is, right? Hanging out. I was wondering if she was involved with the little technical difficulties.
She might be. Yeah, it might be her, because she loves interfering with the technical aspect. She thinks it's great fun to torment KAren. So
yes, she was so famous for that. Yeah. Well, I was hoping to hear from my brother-in-law, who fairly recently passed away. I guess it's been maybe 6 or 8 months now. And it was unexpected. And so we'd love to hear from him. or anybody else that wants to come through for me.
Okay. So he's here. He's fine. He was unsettled with the way he passed. He was not, he considers that he had unfinished business, but that he didn't, he feels like he has unfinished business. He thinks he's had a good run in life. What he says, you should understand that he had a good run in life, but he expected to go longer. He was hoping that he had more to accomplish. He says he feels like his life was unfinished, and he feels like there's someone in your realm. I don't know if it's in your immediate family or not, but he thinks there's someone who can finish some of those things up for him, can continue the work. He's not sharing what the work is, but he's saying that there's one particular pet project that he feels needs to be finished. And he feels like there's someone very close to you. I can't tell if he's just, here's the thing. He doesn't want to put an onus on anyone. Everyone still has free will, but he says that this pet project of his that he says he was still keeping it under wraps some, but he says he thinks that he would be honored if somebody would finish that for him. I don't know if I keep seeing a scrapbook and or a project book, something that he was, I don't know if it's writing or if it's like plans, but whatever that is, I keep seeing a book opening and he's got scribbles or drawings or something. Do you understand what that is?
I don't, but I can ask my husband, is his brother, okay. And we don't live close enough for me to have been like in daily contact with him or even in the home. So
okay, I feel like this is a like something that is portable. Like, I don't think he's building a house. I don't think it's something like that. I think it's, I want to say I don't know if it's a family genealogy or if he was working on, I get that he was creative with something, but I don't know if, I feel like it has something to do with family history, family genealogy, or a family legacy, something like that. Something that you don't have to be in his space to finish. Do you understand? You know what I'm talking about? That it's something that could be continued and ongoing. He says that, first of all, he says he sends his love to all. He thanks you all. He thanks for wanting to be connected. He says that time and space didn't matter to the connection he felt. So it won't now. So it won't make any difference to him what side of the veil he's on. But his big message is that life was unfinished. He had left some things unfinished, and that his big thing is he would really appreciate it. It's not required, but he would love it if someone found as much passion for it as he did. And if they do, and it resonates with them, he'd love for them to finish it for him. Okay.
Thank you.
There's a woman that's coming through also. Can I say, okay, there's a woman that's coming through also that says that her history is not your history. I want to say that it's a mother or grandmother figure. And she wants to say that her health history is not your health history. You don't have to worry about that. And I don't know. I don't know like what that pertains to. She's not giving me a glimpse into that, but she is saying that I don't know if you have a health concern and you're afraid of following in your mom or your grandmother's footsteps, but they said that they don't want you to worry. She doesn't want you to worry. Your journey is not hers. And so you should rest easy in your mind.
Yes, that totally resonates. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. And she sends her love. Okay.
Thank you.
She sends her love. It's ongoing and constant, she says.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just say she had dementia, and I do think about it.
Okay.
That
is scary. Yeah, but I think she's wanting to let you know that I don't think she's telling me, don't think, say it. So she says that your journey is not hers, and or her journey is not yours, I'm sorry, and that you take much better care of your health than she did. And she says that, but she thanks you for all the grace you gave her in her confusion. And she said some people could have wanted to stick her away and hide her away, and you still gave her the grace, and you still loved her and didn't give up on her. And she thanks you for that.
Oh, thank you. That's a very sweet message. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
From your
spot on.
mama.
That's
Yeah.
spot on. My internet is doing crazy things. I am freezing.
It is.
Can you hear me? So you just get to see images of
Yeah.
me instead of me actually
I can hear
moving,
you. Mhm.
which is hilarious. But you're
And Eris does says you're welcome, Karen. She does
bloody
say you're
Eris.
welcome.
Eris, I've been talking to the spirit, and I said, fix it. Anyway, stop laughing at me. They're laughing at me.
I know. They think this is hysterical. Yeah.
If I have to freeze a photograph, very patchy audio here too. I've asked Paddy to restart his computer because maybe it's an Australian thing. We're both having really glitchy internets because your internet is fine. Yeah, might be an Australian thing. I don't know. All righty. Thank you, Diane. That was spot on.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
Message
you.
from Mum. Yeah. Thanks, honey one. All right, we're going to bring up somebody else. I'll bring up Raul. Here we go, Raul. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Raul. It's a South American name, isn't it?
All perfect.
Oh, come on. How do you pronounce it?
Well, it depends where you are. But
Yeah.
Raul.
Yeah.
Probably have pronunciations, and I answer to all of them, so it's okay.
Well, it's a bit spelt like Paul, except for with an R. So it could be Raul instead of Paul, or Raul. Yeah, Raul. It's like a South American.
Some friends call me Ralph, some
Ralph.
some Radu. I've got names for everybody.
Diane, I know that story. Karen. What's your name? Karen. What? It's like it's so hard. Anyway, I'm going to leave Sandy to it. I've got Sandy in the hot seat. And remember, if you want to sesh from Sandy, her website is Sandra Marie Medium. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook and on her website. And your email is to Sandy. Tell people your email, Sandra Marie
Medium at gmail.com.
If you want to reach out to her. And I'm going to leave you guys to it.
Hi, they said a rose by any other name. That's what I heard when you were talking about all the names. I heard that come loud and clear. Okay. So is there anyone in particular you're trying to reach out to?
Well, I mean, if you have somebody that wants to reach out, great. But
I have a man that's a male energy. He's really funny. He has a huge laugh. And when Karen was trying to pronounce your name, he was just rolling. He has like a belly laugh. He said he has the belly laugh to go with the belly, but I don't get that he's very belly. I get that he was a bigger build man. He was every time that they send a thing in the chat, it covers your face, and I'm sorry, that's distracting. But he says that he had a great laugh and he'd have made a great Santa Claus. Does that mean something to you? Because he's saying he would have played a great Santa Claus, and he says that's not something that he ever thought of in this time, but now he knows he'd have been great. But he's coming through and letting you know that I don't know if you've just recently started a new path or if you're looking at starting a new, I don't know if it's a hobby or he just keeps saying a new path, but he says that it would be beneficial for you, and you have their power behind you, their support behind you. I don't know if this is someone you knew. I feel like you knew them, but I don't know that. I don't know how. He's not letting on. He says it doesn't matter how you pronounce his name because, again, a rose by any other name. But he's saying that whatever your new endeavor is, they think it's a go ahead, a great idea. Does that mean, do you know what they're talking about?
Well, I am looking at a couple of new endeavors, and
Okay.
I'll be moving soon. So yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. And do you recognize this man that's talking? He had a white beard, and he said he could have grown it bushier, but it was not the style then. And I don't believe he has a beer belly or anything, but he was a broad shouldered. He says he is a broad shouldered, and he says he appears, the way I can describe him, is when he was younger. But his white beard was in later years. But he was broad shouldered, and he was too tall to be considered what I would consider stocky, but I would say he was almost 6 foot tall, and he just was, I want to say barrel chested. Does that ring a bell to you? Because I don't get names often.
A friend of mine from high school, that rings a bell. I don't know if he's passed or how long ago he did.
But he is coming through, and he's like representing your spirit team and saying that they think that your new endeavor is the right path for you, and they believe that it'll be beneficial in many different aspects for you.
Okay.
So what is the health situation? Have you taken to, I want to say that you are, I feel like, okay, I'm going to say that they're saying there's something with your blood pressure. I don't know if you do stuff to control it. Go ahead.
Just happened 2 days ago.
Okay. And they want you to keep an eye on it.
To think about it, because I've never really had issues as long as I wasn't aware of anyway.
Right. You're not having complications because of it.
A machine today to be able to monitor my pressure.
Okay, good. Because they want
feeling that. And I mean, I feel great. But I think it's time to keep an eye on things like that. My father had problems, but I don't think it was genetic. But they can see that, huh? That's good.
Yeah, they just think that it's a really good idea to keep it, because they believe, I mean, they're saying you're proactive in your health. You're very you're very conscious of it. You do great things to take care of yourself. You make great strides to do it. So this is just their way of saying keep an eye on it, watch it, and if anything untoward or odd happens, pay attention to it so that you don't have to deal with it in a distressful way.
Right. Great. I'm glad to hear that.
Right. And by the way, I love your poster in the back.
So I'm still frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm still frozen. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, no, here I am. I'm back.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know.
So this is not to test your, you just went straight into it, Sandy. I can tell you're a little bit stressed. So no, don't apologize, because but this is for people to sort of say, I find as a medium myself, when somebody gives me a name, I can latch on to people's energy signatures. So if you have somebody you want to specifically talk to, rather than testing your psychic ability, we're not really here to test your psychic ability. We're here to deliver a message from spirit, really. So before we go, Raul, is there anyone, because I know there's always someone you want to speak to, is there anyone you want Sandy to bring a message through for you?
Yeah, well, I was wanting to connect with my wife, Molly, who passed about 1.5 years ago. Tell her hello and tell her that Kitty Boy and I miss her, and we know that she's doing great, and hopefully, we will reunite again soon, or when it's appropriate.
Not soon. She says not soon. She says take your time, because she goes with you where you go, and she wants you to know that don't be silly. Let me go back. So she says that what was the first thing you said? Because she made a comment about it. Hold on a second. You said something about, I can't, anyway, her statement is, I'm around you all the time. And there are certain things that you see that you recognize that are me, and you go in your mind, you're like, I kind of did that. But she's like, don't doubt yourself, please. You have the ability to talk to me. I have the ability to reach out to you. In those moments that you feel that I'm there, there's something in the evening. I don't know if you sit and watch a sunset, or there are times where you sit, and I don't know if it's morning or night, but you watch the sun. And it may just be a brief moment, but she's with you in that moment. And she's there every time that you watch a sunrise or sunset. But depending on the colors that I'm seeing, I can't tell if it's sunrise or sunset, but she says that she sits with you, and in the quiet, there's like this time, I don't know if it's right before you go to bed or right before you like head off to your room, but there's a few minutes where you sit there and think of her, and she's always right there. She's just a thought away.
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
She says, and don't you forget that.
Tell her I won't, and I talk to her every day, and hopefully she hears me.
That's what you said. She said, quit saying, tell her. Tell me.
That's right. We have had Sandy. So Sandy doesn't know this, but I've had this discussion with Raul before about his wife, and she has said exactly the same thing, and multiple times. And the reason that she didn't come through immediately and the other fellow did is because she said, you know that we're connected. You don't need somebody else to talk to me. Like, you don't need somebody else to talk to me. So she has delivered that message to you multiple times, Raul. Yeah, it's like, when is it going to sink in? When is it going to sink in? That's exactly what
she said. She said, eventually, someday, he'll actually get it.
I will someday.
Today's
trust.
the day,
her statement is trust.
Today's the day.
She says, couldn't you always trust me? Come on, trust. If I can say you can trust in it, then trust in it.
Okay.
She sends her love, obviously, but she does.
And,
You're welcome. It was nice to meet you and your wife.
Oh, well,
if you ever figure out who that big guy is, that would be great to connect with him.
Yeah, let us know if it comes to mind. If it comes to mind. And here's Josie. Hello, darling one. Josie's in Aussie. She's in Aussie land.
Bye.
I'm not going to. Sandy doesn't know anything about Josie, but this is not 20 guessing. Like, this is not testing, Sandy. So just if you have somebody that you want to speak to in spirit,
absolutely,
please. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to. I'd love to hear from my Uncle Bob and my friend Jenny if she's around.
So you have many people around. Many people support you and are around you a lot. Your Uncle Bob. What is that? Okay, he says he always used to say something to you specifically. He had a nickname for you, kiddo, or I can't make. I gotta hone in on him. Hold on one second, because you've got like 5 or 6 people who are vying to talk to you, and so I'm like, everybody, hold on. Okay. So he says, shh, don't tell anybody you're my favorite. He says, and this is like, nobody else is going to know that I said this, so just keep it quiet. But did he used to like sneak you treats or sneak you out to do things with you? Yeah, because he says there are times that you should treat yourself, and in those times that you treat yourself, whether it's with something edible, food treats, or a trip to Jamaica. He says he'll be with you in those moments. So I don't know if trip to Jamaica, or he's just using that as an example, but he's like, whatever you go to treat yourself big, he's going to be there with you, because he always liked to sneak those little treats in with you. And again, he says his most important thing is to remember that you are his favorite. And he says, so I don't know if it's you or if it's someone else, but someone didn't get to say goodbye to him, and in the way, and or someone feels that something was left unsaid to him before he left. And he says, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all fine. We knew how we cared, how we felt about each other. And the love didn't need to be spoken. We just understood it. And you were, you know that. So I don't know if it's someone else. Does he have a sister that he would be wanting to give that message to, or someone I feel like they weren't at odds, but they weren't speaking a lot at the end. And so I don't know, but he just wants everyone to know who feels that way. That and from where he is now, he's got it all. He understands. And all the unsaid words are understood. And I'm sorry, tell me your friend's name again. Janie. Okay. Jenny. Okay. She says, take the trip. Were you going to take a trip with her or do something? I don't know if you guys were going to experience. She says, take the trip. I don't know if you guys like made this dream plan or this like someday we will. And she says, take the trip. Does that make sense to you? Because that's it. She's sticking with that. Because I'm like, can you elaborate? And she's like, she knows, she'll take the trip. And I don't know if you're planning a trip or you were thinking of taking a trip, but she's saying whatever that trip is, you should do it. And are you okay? So are you on the search for a special someone?
I'm definitely not on the search.
Oh, okay. So
she was.
Oh, okay. So she was. Okay. Because she's like, oh, that's what she's saying. She keeps saying the search is on. And I thought, okay, you're on the search for someone or something. But she's saying that she still enjoys the search. And I feel like that means that when you go out and she's with you, she checks everybody out. So she says, she said we had some really good times and they were some of my best memories. Yeah. And she says, I wish we'd had more time. I don't know what, I'm going to just not say that. She says that the plans that you had that were unfinished, that's what she's saying you should do it. Take the trip, do the fun thing. She knows that your life didn't stop completely, thank God, when she did, but she doesn't want you to quit. I feel like she feels like she's like, there's no replacement for me, but you haven't made that same connection with anybody. And she doesn't want you to hold back from that because it hurts when you lose somebody like that, but she doesn't want you to limit now for future possible pain. So she wants you to take the risks, make the friendships, make the connections, and please enjoy life and everything. She said, and when you go and do it, I go and do it with you. So please know that we still get to have fun.
Great.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
And she does this. So she's sending lots of hugs and kisses. So there you go.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a mutual friend's birthday tomorrow. And I'm wondering if she's got a special message for him, for Steve.
Well, of course, she goes, of course, the usual happy birthday. But this is what I hear. Keep on trucking. Do you understand that? It's keep on trucking.
He'll know.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I was like, that sounds like I grew up with that in the 70s with people saying that. And I thought it was just an American thing. So I'm like, I don't know, but that's exactly what she said. So I'm going to leave it with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was nice to meet you.
I didn't mean to bring Raul back on. Got him in the middle of I was actually trying to boot you off, and you can go, because Diane's left, you can go and watch it on the YouTube channel or on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm thinking because my internet is still so stuck.
Can I real quickly say Josie, your whole team they just want to send their love to you and tell you that you're very special and you need to value yourself like they value you. And they said, and who doesn't have the internet nowadays?
They must have been listening.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, they just want to make sure they got their word, that message into you. So value yourself as much as they value you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, honey one. Thanks,
Bye.
Josie. Thanks for coming on. I know. Oh, there's Patty. There you go. You've popped on. You don't know who Josie is, but Josie is a magnificent speaker, spiritual healer, and check her out. She's been on my show. She's amazing. She has a huge team with her in spirit, communicating with her all the time. And it's nice to hear from friends. Now, Patty, how's your internet going? We're both having problems. I'm frozen again. I'm frozen the whole time. Anyway, I quite like the way they freeze me. At least I'm smiling. Can you hear us, Patty? Because every time I talk to you, you just, I think I might have to boot Patty off because he keeps freezing too. Can you hear us, Patty? No.
Can you hear me?
Have you got a question for Sandy? Yeah. Have you got a question for Sandy? I might bring you on, Kimberly. Okay, you ready? You there, Patty?
Yes.
There's Kim.
Yes, I'm here. I just got some water.
Patty, think about your question and I'll bring you back. Okay? I know we're having problems with the internet.
Oh, poor Patty.
I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I'm going to leave you girls.
And I can't sign language.
I would just like to hear from my grandma Jerry or
You
my
must get
cousin
in the way.
Audra. They're
Yes.
both in the same family and anything to do with my mother who's
Okay,
here.
hello.
But
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so your
need to hear me.
grandmother Jerry is your mother's mother?
Yes.
I can't say anything here.
All
I
right.
can press
So the first thing she says is, she said to her daughter, she's laughing. She's making some kind of joke about. She said, if your mom had known she was going to live this long, she would have taken better care of herself. And she's like, but she's of course sends her love. I always leave that out because I think it's obvious, but she wants me to make sure I verbalize it. She sends her love to both of you. She's very, I feel like you were one of the most connected to her, to your grandmother. And she values, she wants you to know that I'm going to get teary-eyed because I'm a grandma. And so what she's saying is our grandchildren don't realize how much they add to our lives. And she's giving you credit for the relationship that you had, got her through some difficult moments when she knew that she could make this connection with you and that her memory would go on. That was great solace to her in later years. But her thing is that she just, grandchildren don't realize how much grandchildren don't realize how much they add to grandparents' lives and how much it means to the grandparents when they're valued and when those grandchildren take the time to make that connection, because you are one step away. But she says also, and that one step away makes us realize how much more precious and valuable these our babies are. Moms and dads are so busy with their everyday life and their everyday taking care of the physical of the children and making sure that there's food on the table, a roof over. And she said it was her privilege to be able to value you. And she said she hoped that she taught you valuable lessons, and she thinks that you still live by some of the lessons she taught you. So that makes her proud that she could do that, to add that to your life. And she wants to thank you for remembering some of the lessons she taught you. She says sometimes your children get attitudinal or yeah, mom, or whatever. And she says, when your grandchildren value you, it softens the blow and it means so much more. And she wants to make sure that you know that you did that for her. She's very proud of you. And so there are 3 women that come across on that side. I believe it's your grandmother and her. Is it a sister, or would be that same level? So did your grandmother have a sister that was close to you?
I want to say like my aunt, but I know that's not the same level.
Well, I think your aunt is there for sure, but I think there's a woman, unless it would be your great grandmother. I see 3 women linking arms, and they're arm in arm on your side. They're showing me that they're arm in arm on your side.
Yes, there's probably she has 2 sisters. Yes, that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just show that I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to ask you this. I'm not a medical person, but I'm going to ask you this. Have you been going through what in the olden days they would have said female problems? Like I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I have medical. Yes, I have some health issues.
And
yeah.
So they just wanted to let you know that they're with you to help you through that, and that they are doing their best to make it as less dramatic and as less traumatic and dramatic as possible. We're still having to get you through what you have to get through. So they just want you to know that they're there arm in arm fighting the battles with you. So,
Great.
And working for you. Okay.
Okay. That's going to make me cry.
I think that's the most the most feminine energy power I've seen in a little while, because they are coming across strong. And your grandmother is reminding you come from strong stock, and they are loving that you are carrying their tradition of strong women on.
Oh,
and they said tears are not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, that you have the ability to feel that much. So they don't want you to ever think that if you cry in a situation that it's because you're a weak female. It's because you're a strong female.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, that's lovely. I am going through some health issues that are related to female issues. So yes, thank you for that. And yeah.
All right. Well, they just want you. They feel like you're going to come out stronger.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I didn't want to ask, but thank you.
Well, actually, I was going to say, but Spirit cut in, as they often do. They talk over me. They cut in when I have thoughts. It's like they cut in before I can even get it out of my mouth. I love the way they do that. Remember, they listen to your every thought. I was going to say, is there a specific question you want to ask? But it's already done. It's done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. We've lost Patty. I don't know what happened to him. He jumped off, and but there is. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything. Best wishes always.
Thank you.
Thanks, darling. And there we go. How are you feeling? Let's breathe. Now, I have thrown Sandy in the deep end. She's never done this on camera with so many people before. As I said, been a medium for 15 years, but really only just done the one-on-ones in a sort of secret room where nobody's watching. And here I have thrown in the deep end on a live show, doing all these messages. How are you?
I used to have my office space where I did this in the basement in a dark little corner.
Yeah.
And so I think I was brave and daring when I brought it up to my upstairs, and I'm in my front room, my sunroom, and there are windows in all 3. And every time I meditate or something, I go, see, I'm bringing it all to you guys right out in the open, and you aren't even paying attention. But
there you go. Yeah. So let's take a moment and let's breathe. And there is Patty's back, actually. There is a Sarah Jane. Are you still online, Sarah Jane? Because you asked a question ages ago that she said that she wanted a message from. Where are we? I have quite a few loved ones that have passed in this lifetime. I want you to be specific. Great job. She says she's clapping. I want you to be specific if you have a name that you want Sandy to speak with. We're not doing 20, guesses. Like, the thing is that with Spirit, There are heaps of them here, and they fall over each other to sort of try and get. And so when a medium has to guess who they're going to talk to, there are all these people like, I want to talk, I want to talk. It's much easier when you invite one person to step forward. It's just easier. That's the biggest problem I've had with spirit, is that they all talk at once, and you feel like you're going a bit mad in your head, don't you, Sandy?
Right. Yep.
So I'm going to bring Patty back. Sorry, go on, Diane.
Okay, that's fine.
What were you going to say, Diane?
I was just going to say that's when I have to like hone in and just take a second.
Yeah.
Like Josie had so many people, I need to say, hold on one at a time, please.
Yes, she does. She's got quite a crowd. She's got quite a crowd working with her. She's a magnificent speaker. She's going to be speaking at the upcoming Afterlife convention, which was postponed. I had Paul King on the show. How many weeks ago? A few weeks ago. And he hired out one of Sydney's biggest venues for 3 days. Anyway, he had to postpone it because he didn't get the tickets. So if you so he postponed it to June next year. Maybe you're thinking of having a trip down under. Come to Sydney and come to the Afterlife convention. We're going to have some, meditation rooms and healing rooms and speaking rooms and incredible speakers. It's down to 2 days. It's going to be it's going to be the biggest consciousness event Sydney's ever seen. The biggest Sydney's ever seen. Yeah. Like there are little events all over the place, but this is going to be it's going to be incredible. Patty, darling, can you hear us? Still looking at us with nothing. Can you hear us, Patty? We can't hear you. Is your microphone muted? Have you got a question for Sandy?
Can he type a question?
Yeah, maybe pop it in the chat. Oh, there we go. We can hear you.
There.
What would you like to ask? He's got an essay.
Can you hear me now?
What?
Well,
yes. What would you like to ask,
I'd like
Patty?
to get some comment from my father.
Okay.
Comment from your father. I'd like to know a lot of. Yes.
Anything? Okay. So he says that he was a very strong man in that he didn't put up with a lot of softness, and he wants to say that he's very proud of the man that you've become. You have taken it a step further than he had. I don't know. Let me see if I can get clarification on that. He says where he was he was a man who had he kept his emotions close, and when his emotions overwhelmed him, he kind of got quiet. And he says that you take enjoyment in life and are willing to be more expressive with your emotions and feelings, and he loves that, and he wishes that he would have felt freer to do that. But he wants you to know that he always is proud of you, and that I'm going to say this, and I hope you. I'm just the messenger. He says that he is sorry for the way he fell short at times as a father, and he thinks that if he had been in a different era, in a different age, it would have been a little bit easier. In like he could have made a more emotional connection, but he connects with you now. He feels closer to you now than he did at times when he was here. And he says that he says he's really proud of you for tackling technology. I don't know if he like to tinker on things, or like to I feel like what he's showing me is that he wanted to be he liked to work on with his hands, either in like a garage or like he liked to work outside and tinker on things. I don't know if it's cars or if it's equipment or machinery, but he says he's not sure he could have grasped this whole internet thing, but he would have loved to tackle it.
Any comments? Any comments, Patty?
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Any comments, Patty?
Dad was actually a designer.
Okay.
Dad was a designer.
So he did tinker with things. He designed things. Okay.
He had a life of working with buildings and then with cranes like cranes.
Okay. So equipment. Yeah. Okay.
For lift.
Now, he came across as like this. I'm sorry. He came across as like he kept his emotions in check. Yes.
Yes.
There's a delay. Yeah. I've stopped freezing.
That would be pretty right.
Yeah. Okay, good. I thought he was coming across pretty clearly that way, but I want to make sure.
Yeah. Well, there's one question. He used to sometimes go to sleep, and in the sleep he would have a dream that would give the clues to how to do the job. And it was a person by the name of Merrick who used to come into his head when he was slept. Who's Merrick?
Great.
His very specific.
Dead set.
His very specific spirit guide of, like, he was sent to help your father. So we have spirit guides for different moments and different things in our life, and Merrick was his main guide. I can't read it. Are you wanting to show me something to read?
Patty, we're going to move on because there's other people waiting.
Well, I was saying, yes.
But that's really fascinating. Yeah, we can't read that, darling one.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't see it.
But that's really fascinating that your father had a spirit guide that he used to dream about, that used to inspire his designs.
I think you were,
unfortunately, there's a delay.
What you're talking about?
Do you dream about? Do you dream about Merrick?
Maybe.
Do you have dreams with Merrick?
Because he's a no. Dad used to have them.
Okay, interesting. Do you have dreams about your father?
No.
Do you dream about your father?
No.
Not that you remember. Not that you remember.
No, I don't.
No, he sends his pride. He sends his pride in you.
There's a lot of curiosity. Say what's that?
All right.
What was
so
that?
I'm going to boot you.
Love and pride.
I'm going to boot you off now. We've got a big delay. Sorry about that. But at least I've stopped freezing. No, I haven't stopped freezing. There we go.
Yeah, okay.
If this is errors, we're going to. Anyway, thanks, Patty. Thank you. And again, deep breaths, starting deep breaths. How are you going? There's a lovely.
I love Patty.
I know Patty is so.
Patty,
I know his internet. He did do what it took me a while to get him to reboot. He rebooted his computer and come back in, but yeah, he's having internet problems like me today. I don't know if that's you, Eris.
She just blew you a kiss.
But there's a lovely lady online, Sarah Jane. She's often watched my shows. I don't know if I've ever met you in person, Sarah Jane, and she'd love a message from her brother Chris. If Chris is there, and Michelle Hardy's also online. She'd like to hear from. I won't get you too confused.
Okay, just give me a sec for Chris.
Shirley says she's coming back. She's got a question for you too. How long are we going to keep doing this? Probably not much longer.
Okay. So Chris, I wish I could see your face because that would help me connect. But Chris is coming across pretty strongly in he's giving you a lot of grief. Like he says he's still going to give you grief just like he did when you guys were kids. And he says he's still there to to torment you, not for real, but but he says it was never meant as it was his way of showing love and affection for you. So he would never want to take that away from you. So of course he's going to hide your keys, or he's going to make the, I keep thinking you're trying to head out the door and he's going to something's going to happen. Either you have to go back because you forgot something or you didn't turn a light off. And that's just him letting you know he's around, and he's always going to be around you. And he's always going to be around you to torture you just like a true brother should.
She says, lol, laugh out loud. Yep, okay. That's him, okay, she says.
Good. I wasn't sure if it would be, I mean, I knew it was him because when I saw the thing scroll on the thing and he's like, I'll wait my turn. But
yeah. Is there anything specific you want to hear from him? Anything specific? Testing Sandy's powers of focus. Anyway, she might come up in a minute. Has he got anything specifically he wants to say to Sarah Jane?
Okay, so his big thing is look, the reason I torment you is because I want to still stay connected to you. He said, but if you would like a better way, if there's something else that you would like as a sign from me, I could be nice sometimes and provide that. He says he watches over some young one specifically. I don't know if that's in your immediate family or not, but he says he has a special charge, someone younger that he watches out for. What's he been up to? He's been up to a lot. He actually has started working with, he says he's working with special needs children. Like he helps guide them and protect them. I don't know if he was a tormentor to everybody. I don't think so. His kid or mine, I feel like it's multiple.
Generic. Yeah. Generic.
Yeah. I feel like it's kids in general, like the kids that his loved ones. And I don't know if he tormented people like he was a big tease as a kid or whatever, but he is particularly taking an interest in kids who are bullied. And he's going to help them. He's going to help kind of protect them so that they're like, say that a kid was going to meet him, he's going to make them take a different path so they don't meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a loving way. That's how I took it. Yeah.
That is the best question to ask, Sarah Jane. What are you doing over there? I think that's such a great question because Sandy and I were doing a session and I got her and she said, I want to do more practice. I said, all right, well, tune into my friend Paul. He's one of the many people that I know that have died. I haven't had such a strong connection with. And when you told me, I said, what are you doing on the other side? And what did you remember what Paul was doing? Can't remember now, but when you told me,
he was working with people who had addictions.
That's right, addictions. Yeah,
and he was trying to help guide them and
and he said that he used to go to a lot of parties and he used to just see people getting drunk all the time and taking drugs. But I only knew Paul when he was older, so I didn't see that. But he was still very sociable. But all the gatherings that we had together were spiritual gatherings, and there was no alcohol or drugs involved. So yeah, it was beautiful. Sarah,
he learned his lesson. He learned what he wanted to.
Awesome. So proud of him. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So how you going, honey one? Thanks, Sarah Jane. You okay?
Me? Yeah. I decided that I was going to do it my way for the best of these people and not worry, get caught up in because KAren always says I ramble. And so
she rambles a little bit. She rambles, but not
I
too
am
much.
trying to be precise.
Yeah, no, I get it. When you're getting messages, I do too. When I'm getting messages from spirit, you repeat yourself. But often when you repeat yourself, the energy that's coming through, it's their pronunciation. It's like they send it to you again and again, and you repeat it. It's like this needs to be repeated. This needs to be repeated. It's kind of like they're trying to get that point across.
Emphasizing it.
Yeah. Emphasizing is the word. Thank you.
I had a session with a person who literally said to me, I want you to give them this message 3 times in a row. Right. And I was like, so I said it once and they're like, no, 3 times. I went, oh, okay. And that was when they were fine. Good. Yeah. They were like, now you can keep on moving with the messages. And I was like, you really meant 3 times. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. We did it. Yeah. Ramble. Who smiled about that?
I say it in the nicest way, but
Yeah.
but I really get it. You talk really fast, but when you're getting messages, the information comes so quickly, and it comes a lot. Like it comes a lot, and then you're trying to get it out of your mouth. That was the hardest thing I found, was getting messages from spirit. I don't really do what Sandy does, in that I don't do mediumship as much as I do messages from broader perspective, spirit teams and souls and higher selves and galactic consciousness and all sorts of things. Thanks, Raul. Thank you, Sandy and Karen. Big hugs and kisses. Yeah, to tone it down so that my poor old human brain could get a
Doesn't
grasp.
explode.
It doesn't explode. Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, Michelle Hardy, another Aussie. I would love to hear from my Uncle Tony. And she's got a cat with a smiley face and heart for eyes.
So the very first thing that I get this impression of so I'm a typical American. I watch a lot of Australian TV long before I knew Karen. And I loved this. And I see this man in the outback is what I see. And I don't know if he's just identifying that as Australian or if he actually lived in the outback. But I get that he was the soul that's coming through to me is he was ready for anything. He was not necessarily rough and tumble, but like ready to take on the world. He was I just heard, and I don't know where this is fitting in. I just heard he said he was ready to take on the world, which I don't know if like that's his personality or if he meant he was fighting some kind of like for a greater cause. I feel like it was both. But he was really Aussie. Okay. Okay.
G'day, mate.
Yes. Yeah. It is so funny because before Netflix, I only knew Crocodile Dundee. So, I'm glad I got to expand more on that. But I feel like he was very into I feel like he was very into either plants or lands, saving conservation, things like that. I feel like he did his part to take care of the environment around him. So the message he wants to send is, okay, I cannot do an Australian accent. I will not insult anyone by trying. So I'm just going to say it. He says, keep your chin up and fight the good fight. And what is that? So did he have a pet something? A pet, not something I would keep as a pet. It's some kind of animal, like not pretty. I don't know what kind of animal it is. Did he have a pet? Can she answer us? Did he have a pet that was odd? Like I want to say like an armadillo, but it's not an armadillo, but it was like a
porcupine or a platypus or
something not cuddly.
Not cuddly.
Lizard or I don't know. I just get that it's not your typical pet, and the closest I can see it coming through is
a snake.
A snake.
Did he have a snake? A pet
he had
snake?
A snake. Well, he says he was cuddly. I'm like,
Some people like to cuddle snakes.
Okay, well, God bless them.
He loved gardens and
okay.
Veggie
well,
growing.
So he says that he sends his love to the family, the entire family, and he says that there was some kind of misunderstanding with I don't know if it would be a sibling or I don't know, something on his same level. And he says, but it's all cleared up now. He was wrong. He was in the wrong. He said, and that person will be thrilled to hear that he's admitting he's wrong because he wouldn't have admitted he was wrong. And that he trusts that you can get that message to the right person because you're the right one to deliver it. And he says, take a moment at the holidays he goes, not just me, but remember all of us who have worked to keep this family going and strong. And he says, we know that we're remembered, but every time we're remembered, it kind of gives us this boost to our abilities, or our abilities to carry out a mission there. One thing I learned a long time ago is there was a situation where a family member of mine had left on a bad note with someone else, and that person, we had a conversation with that family member, and they said they were sorry for what they had said, and they accepted my mom. Oh, I wasn't going to say my mom, but but they accepted her apology, and her statement was that none of it mattered anymore. It was just stupid human stuff, and we all are stupid humans. And when you get to the other side, you realize that all the stuff that happened was just a bunch of human stuff, and it doesn't matter, and all is forgiven and forgotten. But the one thing is by them saying that they forgave my mom for that person, and there's that person on the other side, that soul received grace, and it allowed them to do more. And I thought that was a really neat thing, because that never occurred to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, we're going to do one more. I can see you there online, Wendy, but we might maybe next week, because, our poor old Sandy, it's late for her. She's done several readings already, people who came online and a couple from the comments. But Shirley I think Shirley wanted to connect quickly with Shirley. Did you have any chance you can connect with... Oh, that's Wendy's question. All right. Well, we'll do you, Wendy, because I can't find Shirley's question. We'll do Shirley next week. That's how it's worked out. Any chance you can connect with my friend Rob, who passed 2 Christmases ago? So that's for Wendy Ross. She's an American, lives in New York State.
He says, the first thing I hear, isn't that the damnedest thing? You try not to pass on the holiday because it just screws things up. You try not to pass around holidays, but it's the damnedest thing when you pass on a holiday and you just can't. He goes, I would have done it differently if I could have, but I didn't have much choice. But he says, don't let that bother you. Everybody gets sad around Christmas, because they think of all their lost, the ones they've lost. And he says, don't lump me in that. I don't want anybody to wallow on my behalf. I want people to, when they think of me, make it good memories, make it fun memories. Remember the laughs. He said, Christmas, it can get so down and lonely for people. He said, I don't want that to be. If you're going to have memories of me, make them warm memories that'll make you feel good. And he says, if not, he literally says, and if not, you'll be sorry, because I'll be right there and I'll be mad at you. But he says, seriously though, he said, I'm sorry if I took any joy away from those holidays. But I want to put it back by reminding you all that I really haven't left. I'm really right there. All you have to do is think of any of us, and we're right there. And you know what? There's no human stuff when we come through. We are all peace, love, joy. For whatever you need, we are there for you. And he said, that's kind of like our main full-time job up here, is being there for those who need us to be there. And he said, it's great because he says, tell them what your mom says. My mom says she didn't leave us. She just moved to a neighborhood with a better view, because she can be with all of her loved ones at the same time. And that gave me so much comfort. And I think they want you all to know that that's how they feel, because they can, if someone's stressing, they can be with them, but they can also be with you at the same time. And that's really hard for a concept for humans, but how cool would that be if we could do that now? So that is something that we can look forward to.
Absolutely. And when they say at funerals, I've not gone anywhere, I've just stepped into another room. It seems so flippant and, sort of like people are grieving and feeling the loss, and they're like, I'm just in the other room. It doesn't feel like it fits that grieving situation. But I tell you what, when you are psychic, everybody is psychic, by the way. When you allow yourself to tune into your abilities, that is actually exactly what it's like. It's literally like they're in another room. Like I'm using a bedroom as my office. I'm in this room, and next door is my bedroom. It's literally like they're in another room. Yeah. And you enter that room and you see them all there. It's so amazing. It's so amazing, isn't it, Sandy?
I will say that KAren is a little more elevated than us. Sometimes I still get sad. So don't feel down if you get sad when you lose somebody. It's just, it takes a little while, but I do get great comfort. Today I did a meditation and I knew my mom and dad were sitting right next to me. And it's such a great feeling when you can do that. And I would love for everybody to be able to do that for themselves on whatever day they want, on a Tuesday, just because they can.
Yeah, exactly. Meditation. I had a show with Tom Crone and my daughter came on just the other day, your Sunday, my Monday. And, meditation is the key. It's really, if you have a daily meditation practice, this just happens. So my daughter is so psychic. She shared an experience of going to Tom's meditation retreat. And Tom is a meditation teacher that doesn't teach psychic ability. It doesn't even talk about it, really. Wendy says, thank you. And he doesn't ask his students to expect this sort of thing, whereas I do. We teach on a different level. It's just like he really just wants people to find stillness and peace and to alleviate their anxiety and their stressful thoughts. That's really but that's the first step in really getting to be able to connect like this, because otherwise your stressful thoughts just get in the way. They just get in the way. They just block you out, right? And so meditate, everyone. Meditate, daily meditation. Even if your thoughts are screaming, just witness them. Just say thank you. Just witness them like you're watching some loud soap opera on television. Witness your stressful thoughts.
And one of the things that I learned, and I know I'm cutting in on you, sorry. But one of the things I learned is that if you have the time, do a full 30, 40 minute, whatever hour meditation. But if you don't, take 3 minutes, take 5 minutes, take that time to just connect with your soul, with your spirit. And so, they know, they understand, they were human. A lot of them were human. Right. They get it. So if on a busy day, and then set aside a time where you can do it, and meditation can take many forms. I meditate when I'm loading my dishwasher. I know that sounds weird, but I have everything quiet. I might actually play meditation music. And then as I'm doing my dishes or loading my dishwasher, I get there and I feel like when I close that door, I'm like, that was nice. So it can happen in many different ways. Yeah. You can do it in many different ways.
Yeah, meditation becomes a walking practice, actually, when you do it for long enough. It's not like you need to sit to meditate. If meditation is there for you to change your frequency, alleviate anxiety and stress and change your thinking, you want to be able to do it in a moment. It's like in the traffic, when you fall down the stairs. I was saying that I fell down the stairs and I was beating myself up so badly. I was in a lot of pain, because normally when I hurt myself, I just go straight into meditation. I go straight out of resistance. Like, instead of going, oh, you idiot, you fool, God, you're such an idiot, because this is what we do. Like, we're in resistance to what is. I just go, this has happened, and I just, in the moment, just find love and acceptance in that moment, and the pain melts immediately. The pain just melts away. So meditation can become like a life walking practice, but it does help to start. Now, have we got time? We've been going for just over an hour, maybe 5 minutes, because Justine wants to come through. Justine was a magnificent young spiritual teacher. She married an American. Her name is Justine Damon. Damon was her married name. And she taught deliberate creation. She spoke about neuroscience. Magnificent. And she was one of the people killed, I don't know how many years ago now, probably about 5 years ago. She just got married, or I don't know how long she'd been married, but she'd not been in the States too long. She heard a ruckus and she called 911. She thought someone was being robbed or something was happening. And there was this terrible mistake. And when she came out to meet the policeman shot her and she died. Have you got her on? I know. And it went viral. It was just this mad accident. And we had a vigil. I went to a small vigil here. There was a bigger vigil. I had only met her a couple of times, but I remember thinking, damn, she's good at this, and having a little bit of envy at how well she spoke about deliberate creation, bringing in science and spirituality. Like, I was a little envious of her. Like, she was young, and I'm like, oh, she does it so much better than me. And then I started celebrating that there were people in the world like her. She's laughing.
Yeah,
And,
she's laughing. And she says there's no reason to be envious.
I know. I was. The first time I met you, the first time I saw you speak, I'm like, God, this girl's good. And yeah, just that silly ego competition. Yeah, has she got something to say?
Her big thing is she said, it was a tragic mistake. I mean, it was just a mess. It was a tragic mistake. It was a life lesson for the person that did it. That
policeman.
Yeah, the policeman that did it. It did change his trajectory in life, for the better. He became a much more connected to his soul person,
Right.
spiritually connected. And so oh wow, that's wild. That's so generous. Her statement is my life was dedicated to deliberate creation and spiritual awareness. And so the fact that my passing could help elevate that human, then it was not for no reason.
Yeah,
no, there was a
absolutely.
reason behind it.
What's she doing over there on that side? I have to say, when she passed, she was so present with me, and I hardly knew her. And I know, okay, she said, this human, I haven't met you, I didn't know you.
Yeah.
All souls are intimately connected. We're sort of intimate.
Yeah.
We're intimate. We're one. She's saying, we're one energy. I'm like, yeah, especially when you have an intention, when you have the desire to enlighten humanity, to elevate consciousness, and to teach. We're all one big happy family, she's saying. But anyway, yeah, what's she doing on the other side?
Same thing she was doing on this side, doing her best to elevate humanity, doing her best to bring the light from the other side to this side and expanding it. She helps those who are helping the world. She helps that whole thing. She says she's been okay. So I've been trying to figure out what I want to do, because as you've just brought me out of the closet, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to present. And one of the things is, the song That Little Light of Mine. So I want to have a take on that. And she said she helped me develop that today, because it just came into my head today. So she was ready to come through tonight, because she was waiting to not take credit, but just let people know that she's still around. She's doing everything, that she didn't change her mission. She's one of the few that, as their human mission, they didn't have to change it much when they went to the other side. They just continued on with it. That's pretty cool.
Let me ask you this, Justine. I can't remember your maiden name. I'll find it in a minute. Damon was her married name. Is she coming back? Is she back? Is she coming back?
She's taking her time. She's where she can make a difference now with many people. Like she can reach tons of people, as opposed to the maybe hundreds she could reach here. She's like, and if I do, I'm going to be a walking, because I'm not wasting my time being a child. I'm going to get to the point faster.
She's going to be another walk-in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She says that, it's great being a kid and you don't have all these worries. She said, but I feel like if I were going to come in as a kid, I'd come in as a small human, and it would just be wasting my time being a child, because nobody would pay attention to the 6-year-old who says blah, blah. She goes, although there are people on TikTok now who have kids. And she goes, but that just goes to prove that everything they're doing on that side and everything we're doing on this side is making the impact, because these kiddos are being able to speak their mind, and people are listening to them.
They are.
And she says, everybody who tunes into this kind of show, this kind of message, God bless you all. Spirit is proud and enthusiastic, and will add and benefit our lives, because we are benefiting others' lives. And she says, and that's not a human ego thing. That is a pat on the back from Spirit. So she says it's they're working to get as many pats on the back as possible. So start spreading the word, keep spreading the word, and she will work with everyone who she can possibly reach, because she did not die in vain. She just died to move on. She just crossed over to work in a larger department.
She did. Let me see. I think this is you. She's saying yes. Is this you? Yes, this is you. Her maiden name was Oh my God, am I going to try to? I think your married name was easier to pronounce.
She said, "You know what? It's just like we all say we have a spirit team. A name is a name. Is it like they said earlier? A rose by any other name is still just a rose. So
it's RUSZCZYK. How the hell do you say that? Yeah, she said the married name was a lot easier. Anyway, so there's a lot of people that knew her and loved her in Sydney, and she came through before we went live today. And I'm like, oh, you want to come through with a message? So yay, Justine. I love you, Sandy. Thank you. Okay, so if you want a reading from Sandy, you can check her out on her website, Sandra Marie Medium, Facebook, Instagram. She's there. We haven't figured out.
I'm learning technology.
Technology.
It's easier to talk to dead people, but
yeah. So if you're around the world, you can do this on Zoom. Obviously, she's out of the spiritual closet now, and we'll do this again next week. You're up for another one next week?
Well, it was up for debate until I saw how this went, but this was fun, and I enjoyed sharing the messages with people. So yes, I'll come next week.
We'll do it again next week. If you want to come on camera and ask her a question, send me an email. You accentuate the positive radio@gmail.com. Raul says he wants to come back.
Oh, lovely.
And yes, thank you all for tuning in. Message from Spirit. Well, yeah, just talking to the mob. They're going like this. We've got lots in store for you. And yeah, lots in store for you. Thank you, darling. Thank you, gorgeous one. Thank you for being so brave. I push people out there. People that are in my group know how pushy I am.
Yeah, she's a little.
I'm a little pushy.
But thank you also. This was a lovely night. Thank you.
Thanks. Big love to all of you. And coming up on the show this Sunday, the US Monday in Australia, Jeff O'Driscoll, who was an ER operation doctor. Oh God, I've got that wrong. What do you call them? Emergency doctor. And he could see spirit. And he used to often see people's spirit hovering above their body as they were being operated on. He has an amazing story. He's now retired. He's written a book. He's been on the show before. He's such a love. He's such a beautiful man. I love Jeff. So he's coming up on the show this Sunday. So do join us to hear Jeff's story. Wendy says, nice show. Thanks, darling one. And Shirley, let's get you on camera next week if you want to come on.
You're encouraging. Okay.
See you next week, she says. Come on camera next week if you want to. You don't have to. You can ask it in the chat. Okay. Bye. Big love to you, Sandy. Big love.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I should tell people if you want a session from me, you can have one from me too. But yeah, I always forget that. All right. How do I stop the lives on this platform?
I don't know.
I've got to figure out how to stop the live.
Technology is not as easy as talking to spirit. That's for sure.